What is going on, my friends? So finally I'm back from the holiday and yeah, I'm not losing any time, guys. I am about to give you my interpretation of this season in the crypt. What is the thing that you should go for? What is the thing that you shouldn't go for? So without any further ado, let's usually start with the goats. Now, when it comes to the goats, you should avoid getting them. They're not really that great. I mean, Inferno Scorpion is a decent character. He can do stun loop, but unless you are in a mood for a huge grind, I would avoid getting him at this point. After all, he isn't really difficult characters to fuse. The same thing goes for Master Souls Ermac. He can be super useful in certain outward teams, but generally speaking, I would avoid getting him because you have other priorities unless you are in a mood for a total grind of the crit. And Aftershock Tremor, in my opinion, is the best out of the three goats, but again, you should avoid getting him. However, if you don't have him at all, I would consider getting one copy of him in the crypt because there'll be a lot of cases where he'll be super useful against certain bosses escaping with 1 HP and stuff like this. So yeah, you should avoid Inferno and Master Souls Ermac, and you should consider Tremor only if you don't have him at all. If you already have a copy of him, you should again avoid getting Tremor. When it comes to the diamonds, out of the three, the only diamond that's worth getting at this point, in my opinion, is Black Dragon Erin Black, and I'm going to explain to you why. And this is only if you don't have him. If you do have all those three, if you do have Black Dragon Erin Black, Circle of Shadow Sub-Zero, and Black Dragon Cabal, then you should go for the one that you're using most of the time. Of course, that's logical. For instance, if the Circle of Shadow team is your main team, then you should go for Circle of Shadow Sub-Zero. If the Black Dragon team is your main team, then you should go for Black Dragon Cabal. However, if you don't have either of them, I would advise you to go for Black Dragon Erin Black. Even though he isn't exceptional at Fusion Zero, he can still provide covering fire, he can apply Cripple on Special 1, and there is something else that's super useful about him, the fact that he can give you more or less bonuses in every crypt fight, in every crypt season, and in every survival mode season because he's a nomad, and that's super useful. For instance, if I go to the crypt right now and I decided that it's a good idea to create a team, you can see that if I filter on the nomads, there are only two nomads in the game, they will both be giving me bonuses. If I go to Faction Wars, if I go to Survivor, if I decide to do an Elder fight and I do the same, I already pre-filtered characters that are just nomads, you can see that actually I didn't, so I'm sorry, I'm going to do it once again. There will be Nomad, and you can see that they're both giving me bonuses. So at the end of the day, having Erin Black, even at Fusion Zero, is going to be good because you can use him as the guy who will be pumping up your scores in both the Crypt and Faction Wars. Alright, so after we discuss the characters, let's go to the equipment. Now, when it comes to the equipment, the Frost Axe is a pretty decent piece of gear, I'm not going to lie. Unfortunately, it really becomes very good at Fusion 10 when you unlock the 50% basic attack and blockable chance, which by the way is the highest you can find in the game. There is a Shansung epic weapon that also gives 50% unblockable chance, however it is based on a condition, while here on the rare piece it is no matter what. So this is super cool. Generally speaking, in Fusion Zero this piece can be useful in the Link Way Tower, that's a no-brainer, but also you can use it on Sub-Zero and more or less that's it. So you should shortlist the Frost Axe. After all, it is a tower piece of gear, and the general rule is you should go ahead and buy them. The Geek Defense isn't really bad at all. Look at this, it gives recovery, and there is a chance to gain regeneration after performing successful Special 2, and this is 30% Fusion Zero, and it goes by 3% on each fusion. I would say that you should go ahead and buy the Geek Defense. The Soul Medallion is another thing that you should 100% go ahead and buy because it's one of the very best Faction Wars pieces in the game. Legacy Rare, it is super useful, especially at Fusion 10, and it goes for just 600 hearts, so it is super cheap. So if I have to summarize the video, when it comes to the gear, you should go ahead and buy everything. Of course, for the Frost Axe, you should just shortlist it, but you should go ahead and buy the Geek Defense and the Soul Medallion. They should have the highest priority. In terms of characters, if you don't have any of the diamonds, I would strongly advise you to get Black Dragon Erin Black. Once again, reason being is simple. He can give you bonuses more or less every single season in survival mode. He can give you bonuses every single season in the crypt, and that's quite important. Alright guys, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel, give me a thumbs up, that helps me a lot, and it doesn't cost you anything. Take care guys. Perfect.